Imagine you see someone in trouble on the side of the road. A car broken down, a person who has fallen. Now, imagine they are wearing the jersey of a sports team you despise, or a t-shirt with a political slogan that makes your blood boil. Do you still stop? Be honest. That uncomfortable question, that slight hesitation, is the entire point of a 2,000-year-old story we think we know. A story we filed away under "Be nice to people." The parable of the Good Samaritan. But this isn't a gentle bedtime story about kindness. It is a radical, psychological attack on our deepest, most primal instinct, tribalism. The instinct to divide the world into us and them. And it's a story designed not to make us feel comfortable, but to expose the sophisticated ways we justify our own indifference. The story begins with a trap. A lawyer, an expert in religious law, asks Jesus the question to test him. What shall I do to inherit eternal life? After a brief exchange, the conversation zeroes in on the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. And then the lawyer asks the crucial, defining question, and who is my neighbor? Let's be clear. This is not an honest search for wisdom. This is a search for a loophole. He is asking, what are the precise legal limits of my responsibility? Who can I safely ignore and still consider myself a good person? Draw the line for me so I know who is in my tribe and who is out. It's a question that seeks to shrink the circle of compassion, not expand it. And in response, Jesus doesn't give a definition. He tells a story. A man is going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, a notoriously dangerous road. He is attacked by robbers, stripped, beaten, and left half dead on the side of the road. And then 3 people pass by. First, a priest, a pillar of the community, a religious professional. He sees the man and crosses to the other side of the road. Why? The story doesn't say, and this is its genius. It forces us to fill in the blanks with our own rationalizations. Perhaps he feared the man was dead, and touching a corpse would make him ritually unclean, unable to perform his temple duties. A conflict between professional obligation and human compassion. How many times have we told ourselves, I can't get involved, I have a deadline? Then, a Levite, another respected religious figure. He comes to the place, sees the man, and also crosses to the other side. Again, why? Perhaps fear. The robbers could still be nearby. It's a pragmatic risk assessment. It's the same logic we use when we see a brewing conflict on the street and think, better not get involved. It's not my problem. It's not safe. These aren't evil men. They are respectable, busy, and rational. They represent the part of us that can always find a good, sensible reason to not get involved in the messy, inconvenient suffering of others. If this analysis of our own justifications feels familiar, take a moment to like this video. It's a signal that these honest conversations are needed. And then comes the hero. And this is where the story becomes a psychological earthquake. A Samaritan. To our modern ears, Samaritan sounds like a nice person. But to Jesus' original audience, this was a term of contempt. The animosity between Jews and Samaritans was ancient, deep, and bitter. They were seen as heretics, foreigners, traitors, the ultimate other. The Samaritan is the last person anyone in that audience would expect to be the hero. He is the person they were culturally programmed to hate and distrust. He is the fan of the rival sports team. He is the voter from the opposite political party. He is the person from the country your country is at odds with. And to understand his action, we need a modern metaphor. Let's talk about the neuroscience of tribalism. Our brains are hardwired for pattern recognition, for efficiency. And one of the oldest, most efficient shortcuts is to categorize people into in-group and out-group, us and them. This is an ancient survival mechanism. We are naturally more inclined to trust, empathize with, and help those who look, think, and believe like us. The priest and the Levite were operating on this default, ancient programming. Their brains saw the wounded man, failed to find a tribal marker of us, and the system defaulted to, not my responsibility. The action of the Samaritan, then, is not just an act of kindness. It is a radical act of cognitive override. It is a conscious decision to defy his own brain's default settings. He sees not a Jew, a member of an out-group, but a human being. The text says he was moved with compassion. This compassion wasn't a cheap feeling. It was a catalyst for costly action. And the story gives us a detailed breakdown of what that action looks like. First, he went to him. He closed the physical distance. He didn't shout advice from the other side of the road. Second, he bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. He used his own resources, his personal first aid kit, to administer care. It was personal and messy. Third, he set him on his own animal. He sacrificed his own comfort for the victims. He chose to walk so the other could ride. Fourth, he brought him to an inn and took care of him. He didn't just drop him off at the emergency room. He stayed. He ensured his safety. And finally, he paid the innkeeper and said, "Take care of him. And whatever more you spend, I will repay you when I come back." He assumed present and future financial responsibility. This is the anatomy of true compassion. It's not a fleeting feeling. It is inconvenient, costly, personal, and it takes long-term responsibility. Now comes the masterstroke. Jesus looks at the lawyer and flips the question. He doesn't answer, "Who is your neighbor?" He asks, "Which of these three do you think proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers?" The shift is paradigm-shattering. The lawyer's question was, "Who qualifies to be the object of my love?" It's a passive question that keeps the power with the questioner. Jesus' question is, who chose to become the subject of loving action? The parable doesn't define who your neighbor is. It challenges you to be a neighbor. And this is the story's radical, uncomfortable, and liberating conclusion for us today. Our modern world is full of people lying on the side of the road. The ditch is our social media feed, where we scroll past news of a tragedy in a distant country because it doesn't feel real to us. The ditch is our city center, where we walk past the homeless person because we are busy and uncomfortable. The ditch is our own family or workplace, where someone is suffering from depression or burnout, and we avoid them because we don't know what to say. The priest and the Levite live on inside us every time we find a sophisticated reason to maintain our distance. And the question the parable leaves us with is not, "Is that person on the ground my neighbor?" It asks, "Am I willing to cross the road Am I willing to override my tribal instincts, to feel the inconvenience, to spend the resources, to take the time? Am I willing to stop defining who is worthy of my help and start the practice of simply helping whoever is in front of me? The story suggests that the path to eternal life, the path to a meaningful existence, is not found in having the right theological answers. It is found on a dangerous road, in a ditch, in the messy, costly, and transformative act of choosing to be a neighbor. And if this conversation has prompted you to think, even for a moment, about the roads you travel and the people you pass by, then our exploration has found its purpose. To continue these journeys together, consider subscribing to Soul Scripts and sharing this story with one other person who is also asking the hard questions. Thank you for walking this path with us today.